letting you in. Take a look at you and start to lose my balance. What am I falling into? This feels like something new. I've seen a lot of views, but they were nothing like this. The way you do what you do, I think you're something brand new.
My goodness me, hasn't there been so much over the last couple of days? It's not for me to try and wrap up everything you've heard. I think I'm going to get someone far better on this stage to try and get his head around this. Kristian, would you like to come and join us?
Let's get Leo up.
Yeah, and do you know what? I mean, there's been so much. Can you do it on your own? I think not. Leo, would you like to come and join us? Do you want to grab a microphone? There you go. By the way, the look on your face was like, oh, okay. Wow, what a couple of days. I mean, gentlemen, first of all, what an amazing place to have this. Oh.
Sorry? This will set the benchmark for future power summits, that's for clear. I said it yesterday evening, and Brussels will struggle next year, if that's okay. So we have to think about it. But again, I would like to say, at the end of this conference, Georgios, thank you very much for what you did. And thanks to PPC.
Leo, I'm going to kick that one right back to you because next year is going to be your farewell. So the pressure is on you to basically take this to the next level in Brussels.
Okay. We are the summary of this conference. So.
Right.
So, talking about everything that we've talked about over the last couple of days, I'm not going to get you to go through this in detail because quite often this is the sort of thing that takes a few days to sort of to bed in. Big themes, big reports as well. You clearly laid out for the industry what is needed at the very, very start of yesterday. What is needed, how much investment, where the investment needs to go. And, there's a real buzz about having that trajectory forward.
Yeah, so what I actually take away, which is very positive, is that when we look at what Mr. Mitsotakis said, when we listen to Mr. Attila Steiner, we hear and see very clearly that the transition and direction is anchored at the very highest level of society. And moreover, when it comes to the priorities that were set out by the Hungarian presidency, I saw a lot of overlaps with the 3 I's that I presented yesterday. It was about energy, it was about infrastructure, it was about investments across the value chain and implementation. So I do think that there's been a very, very, let's say, positive convergence over the last few months, realizing that now we really need to get cracking and be careful to expand further the scope and deliver.
Yeah, get cracking and deliver. Some of your highlights, Leo, what are you going to take away from this?
First, I agree. What we see is this discussion about is energy, do we need something else than the energy? It's all wasted time. The dynamics of the energy transition are just going to continue. And it's just a question of the slope, the pace, and whatever, but it's just going to continue on its own. So that's number one. And I agree, and we've also seen the political will to push it forward nevertheless. I think what I also take away is that we, as Eurelectric, I think we can be proud as an industry that we are actually making our contribution, and in this conference we have also added to everything else that we need to do. We have also added a bit the DSO perspective to the picture, which I think was kind of like one of the content highlights. I think there's one thought that I would like you to take away, if you think about also about the European election. We also discussed it all works, and it can be a great deal for consumers, provided we can explain it, etc. But electrification is key. And so if you look at that, then we also said, and it's not a problem financially as long as we grow. Now I looked at a survey which was up here, which was done by the European Commission. Innovation, not a question. Growth, not a single question. So, and then I look at the regulation, which I see coming from risk-based, not opportunity-based. So we are doing an AI Act to mitigate the risk of AI, but I don't see a discussion around the opportunities of AI. And if it's said, it's lip service because it doesn't translate into anything. So what I would say we should be much more focused on opportunities, and then we should think about the risk in a second step rather than the other way around. And we should much more be focused on growth and on innovation, because then if the pie is getting bigger, then we can actually manage the transition. If the pie is getting smaller, no matter what we do, it will get tougher.
Yeah, a really interesting point, particularly when it comes to new technology, innovation, AI. We had that fabulous session earlier this morning where Asha was talking about the size of the potential of that industry. Digitalisation has been a theme that has run right the way through the conference, and it needs to be front and centre, doesn't it?
Absolutely, but it's interesting to see how that's a big theme for us, but not at all for citizens across Europe. And I think if I look at the challenges in Brussels, it's really about marrying this agenda of the green transition that we now all own and agree on with those different priorities that people are expressing. I really like what Marcus said. Essentially, health, social exclusion, they're about a strong society. Yeah. And following up on what Leo said about, well, let's get growth going, first of all, that's a precondition to have that strong society. What we look at politically now is some very significant spending trade-offs, because everybody agreed also defense is going to be important. So where do we put the next euro, on defense or on green transition? And here we need to be smart and think about how that spending can become intelligent, so that we don't create an either or, but make sure that, for instance, defense spending is something that actually contributes to the European economy. Today, 80% of all defense spending in Europe contributes to other economies across the world. So we need to think carefully about a sort of a Europe-centered growth strategy, put that at the heart. Competitiveness was mentioned, and see how that marries up with the green transition.
There's a lot to think about, and 12 months from now, I mean, we cannot be certain what sort of world, what sort of society that we have, that we are within, working and living within. But you are going to have to look at what could be the trajectory for this industry, and therefore what we're going to be discussing in 12 months from now. What do you think or want to be on the table, Leo?
So to end on a really positive note, it's like in 12 months we will be discussing how fantastic the trajectory has been for our industry again. Because we have growth opportunities, investment opportunities, it all moves our direction. Being in the electricity industry is the place to be. Now, what I would like to discuss, how beautiful also the rest of the economy has developed, so it's actually not a problem to finance all of that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take you up on digitalization as my final words, because again, when thinking about a growth strategy, everybody sees that the internal market is the prerequisite for a Europe-centered growth strategy. Infrastructure is the key to get that market even deeper, and that infrastructure, we got the bill, it's 67 billion per year, and the link to digitalization is all those avenues that we can find to bring down that bill, performance excellence, new types of technology, grid-forming technologies, ways of leveraging flexibility behind the meter, and so on and so forth. That way, bring down the bill, that way we can get, let's say, a cheaper energy system, and hence also more growth in Europe.
Yeah, and then you've got your society going along with you as well. Well, that's quite a list already. I hope you're writing all that down. You've got it written down for next year. But what a year this has been. What a venue, what an event, what support that you have had from your sponsors, from everyone around from your teams back in the office, from the technical teams here, from everyone at this amazing resort. You've just got to do it next year in Brussels. Do you want to tell us the dates?
I'd love to. It's the 3rd and the 4th of June. You know the venue. It's in the Gare Maritime as usual. And let's see if we can double the participation and make this an even bigger party.
And we might even have a new commission, right?
Hopefully. Yeah.
Well, the challenge is to get them there speaking for you.
We'll manage.
Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Leo and Kristian. Thank you. Thank you. And it just leaves me to thank you, because you've been a superb audience. You've been a really engaged audience, and it's been really wonderful to hear your thoughts and your opinions, and to get the opinions and the thoughts of all our amazing speakers who have been here on this stage. So thank you for your transparency, thank you for your candor, and thank you for your enthusiasm. And we look forward to seeing you next year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you.